Welcome back. It's Mr. Rankin. We're going to talk about Chapter 9 in International 110 called the Entrepreneurial Firm. So basically, when an entrepreneur might want to expand his or her business internationally. So, entrepreneurial firms, just a definitional thing. SMEs are small multinational enterprises, and they're generally described as fewer than 500 employees. So, when we say small, it's not all that small. 500 employees is a pretty good sized business, but that's how it defines it. Small SMEs are under 500, MNEs are more than 500. Couple reasons, advantages. So, from an institutional point of view, remember, institution is the formal institutions like the home and the base. Some of the resources are what kind of rules and regulations. And I think we talked through Amazon in Japan, where when Amazon went to Japan, the publishers set the price, different than in the United States, where the retailers set the price of the book. So that took away one of Amazon's major competitive advantages that it has in the United States in terms of price, was kind of taken away when they went to Japan, and the rule was the publisher sets the price of the books. And Amazon did some creative things like bundling, like reward programs, like free shipping to get around that and to capture and reestablish some of their advantages in price. Then the resource view, those are things, those are advantages internal to the organization. There's the value, rarity, how imitatable, and how much organization you've got around it. So again, if we use Amazon as example, they certainly bring value, particularly the value for the price, because they tend to be lower priced than, say, Barnes and Noble or Borders, because they don't have the physical infrastructure. They're all online. They tend to have an incredible advantage in terms of inventory of books. It's, again, all online. So that's some of the internal stuff. Now, if we talk about growing the entrepreneurial firms, you can go through growth. You look for, when you're moving overseas, you look for locations that have growth, innovation, and financing, able to get in there and do some things. And some nations are more helpful than others in terms of how you can, availability of financing, the innovation, the skill level, the educational level of the labor force, whether the economy's growing or the population's growing, what's the per capita income of that population. All of those are factors in determining which countries you may want to go into. Then once you determine where you want to go, there's several several ways to go. You can directly export, or you can do some licensing of your product. You can do some franchising, which is what McDonald's and a lot of these folks do. These first two are not equity. The people that are putting up the money are not the company. It's the person that's getting the license or the purchase of the franchise. When you get into joint venture and foreign direct investment, now you're putting in some equity into it. Stage modeling is the last example. That's simply where you go internationally in different stages. So, direct exports is where I just ship my product overseas. Licensing is where I give someone the right to sell my product overseas, and they pay me a royalty for that. Franchising is where they're given the model and the recipe, and they put up the money up front, and they pay me a royalty fee or a franchise fee, along with usually some monthly royalty on sales. A joint venture is just where two companies go in together, say 50-50. Foreign direct investment is where I make the entire investment overseas. And stage modeling is where I do it in stages. So the impact of management is very simple. You try to go to places where there's opportunities, where your product will work, and where you're going to a nation that's welcoming and encouraging overseas investment. That's Chapter 9. Have a good week.